Hi guys, we did it. We made it. We've actually got a live going now with a couple of special guests in a few moments. First of all, Happy New Year, guys. It's going to be a good one. Last year was pretty good for me, but this year is going to be a super duper one. So tonight we're going to talk about all the weird and wonderful paranormal supernatural things as usual. You're also going to get an opportunity to call in on a phone number, which I've got somewhere. Hold on a second, see if I can find it. It's actually in the chat, so just have a look in the chat. So when I say call now, that's your opportunity to call in, present me any questions about my work, Tony about his, Tony and Cherie, sorry. They will be on the program within the next couple of minutes. What can I say? I got to say, guys, the comments and support from the most recent uploads have been absolutely fantastic. A lot of you are sharing the work. Totally appreciate that. You know, there's lots of different mediums and methods of speaking to our friends. I mean, everybody's got their own. Me, I stick with the basic. My voice recorder served me well for many years and will continue to do so. I've never actually really shown any interest in the ghost box and things receiving radio waves of people interpreting the speech through audio pareidolia. There are people on YouTube that have got their boxes that claim to speak to people that have just died probably 10 minutes before. As I explained in the previous video, that's because it's trending. So you get it out, you know, lots of hits, fantastic. We're not about that. We're not about just getting lots of views. We're not about presenting the truth. And you know, if it takes a little bit longer to get all our subscribers and our viewers, and then that's the way it's going to be. I came across a method recently with a very good friend of mine, Cherie Rathman of Entity Voices. Direct radio communication. I think I got that right. If not, Tony and Cherie will tell me off. I didn't pay a lot of attention. You know, I just think each to their own. I had no views on it. I've just gone in the middle of the fence. Did it work? Did it not? I ain't got a clue. But you know what? Each to their own. Like I said, I don't like to, you know. But then I got a little bit intrigued. Tony was on there one night on his equipment. And he said, Becky, he was trying to see if he can get a hold of Becky. Becky, are you there? Can you say it's Becky? I heard Becky's voice come through on his equipment. It's Becky, or this is Becky. I'm like, okay. Tony sends it to me next day. Says, hey, you know, Becky. And I'm like, you know, Becky don't do that. Becky will only communicate with me. Many have tried in the past. So I asked Becky, and she said, it was me. Wow. That's quite a big one. Because like I said, Becky doesn't speak to anybody but me. So the next question was, wow, Becky, that's good. But how come you did that? Because me and Tony are going to do a lot of work in the future. So me, Tony, Cherie, and Paddy, my beautiful wife, doing a lot of work in the future. It's almost like she wanted to substantiate herself to them. So that's why she did that. Absolutely fascinating. I'm still a little bit devil's advocate on this. Tony's had some fantastic replies. I can see a lot of the time when Tony said he's got a certain kind of reply, I can hear that. But I'm also seeing a lot of other people that are listening to it are coming, he's saying this and saying that and saying that. And their interpretation is totally different. And you know what? It comes back to the old thing. Your ears have to be attuned to what you're listening to. Obviously, Tony, it's his equipment. It's you know, it's his gig. And he's been doing this a long time and spends many, many hours. Very, very, very dedicated couple. These are very ethical, fantastic people. Some of my favouriteest people on the planet. And I've got to say that because I know they're going to be on here in about 10 seconds, Tony. So here's Tony, here's Cherie. We're going to talk about lots of things and introduce you to their work. Hey, guys.
Hi, Don.
Hey, Don, how you doing?
Happy New
Did you
Year.
hear that? You're my favouriteest people in the world. Did you hear that bit?
I did. I and I appreciate that.
That's why I said it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Happy
to
New
you.
Year.
Can't believe we're in 2023 already. Only the first week, but
Right.
man, time flies.
I can't believe I actually got this live thing sorted out with a little bit of help. Wink, wink. You know. Okay, so Tony, before we jump into your method and we look at some examples, can you give viewers a brief outline about yourselves, where you sit within the paranormal research field?
Sure. Well, about 13 years ago, come April, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, February.
I'm sorry, you're right. February.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was
Don't
taking
start
anniversary.
fighting already, guys. Don't start fighting already. Okay.
Well, 13 years ago on Valentine's Day, February 14th, Cherie had taken an interest in, she always had an interest in the paranormal. And she started watching the television shows that were starting to come out back then. And she took a real interest in it. And she tried to get me involved in it. And I said to her, she'd say, come and watch this with me. I'd last about 3 minutes. And I'd say, this is television. This is for entertainment. I don't believe any of this. And my father was a physics and chemistry instructor when I grew up. So every time I asked a question, why is the sky blue? I got a scientific answer, because there's water vapor in the sky and the light separates through the vapor and produces that blue background you're seeing. Everything I asked.
Illusion. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything I asked was a scientific answer, and the paranormal did not fall into that anywhere. Well, then Valentine's Day came up, and she said, I want to do something different, because normally we'd go to the Buttes, hang out by the pool, relax, drink. She says, I want to do something different. I said, okay, what do you want to do? She said, I want to go ghost hunting. I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. Well, I had two choices. I could take her, or I could have her mad at me until next Valentine's Day. So it was a pretty simple choice. I took her, and I bought her a digital recorder, EMF meter, and night vision camera. I thought, okay, she's got equipment. She can investigate her heart out, and I'll just play along for the weekend, and she'll be happy. Well, we investigated all weekend, but when she got the stuff home, and we had images in the photographs that weren't there when we took them, we had voices answering our questions that were not there when we asked. And when we had stuff on the actual videotape, you caught that apparition in the mirror.
Yes.
I was blown away. And for 4 months, I tried to debunk it and couldn't. And my only answer was, let's go back and try it again. Maybe it was bad lighting. Maybe there were voices coming from other rooms. So we did it again. And then we did it again and again and again. We investigated that hotel over 50 times. Yeah. And every time we got more evidence. And that's what started our 13 years of paranormal research.
Then you was hooked.
Exactly.
Yeah. Best Valentine's ever.
So, I mean, what do you think generally about the paranormal field and investigators out there? Because, there is good, there is bad. And, the problem we have is trying to get the people that are not doing it particularly well. I'm not going to say right, because we know there's not a rule book. Okay. But people to question their own methods and question their own evidence, because you know what? Everybody, wow, this is a ghost. Anything paranormal, it's a ghost, a shadow. Wow, straight away, that's a ghost. And a lot of people, they're not trying to debunk and criticize their own work. And I say criticize their own work deliberately, because you know what? The biggest test of your own work is to yourself. Right. And testament to your own work, because as I've said before, if you put something out that you're classing as paranormal, which could be absolutely anything, the critics are going to jump on that, and that is the kind of work they're going to cite from every corner of the planet to enforce the and bolster their argument. So how do you think, or what do you think, how people should actually interrogate their own work?
Real simply, you have to have a level of skepticism in anything you capture. You have to know your environment. You have to know your surroundings. You have to know where everyone is at every single point. So when you do capture something, you know what outside noises there were. You know what people were around that could have affected it. You have to debunk every reasonable and logical explanation before you can even consider And I say consider because you can't automatically assume yet at that point. To be able to even consider it to be paranormal, then you have to know, were there other circumstances that could have caused it. You have to be aware of everything happening around you. And then even if you're leaning towards the paranormal, you have to be able to test and debunk anything else that maybe could have caused it. Equipment malfunction, light distortions. There's level after level that have to be gone through.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of this comes with lots of years of experience. I mean, I've got a lot of years under my belt, but people just starting out, you know what? They see the stuff on the TV, they go out, they get something on the camera. Wow, look, it's a ghost, something. It might be a spider crawling across a goddamn lens. I know we've all got to start somewhere, but the problem I've got is a lot of people, some people, have to be careful, never seem to progress very far from the beginning of where they started.
Well, exactly. That's a huge problem. And the other problem is that there's no actual research in it. They will copy what they've seen on TV, use those same methods, the same thing they see on a half-hour, 45-minute show, and go out and copy those. You have to pick apart what you're seeing on TV because there's lots of mistakes being done and being made. And
and it's not really a mistake. It's actually for entertaining the ones.
Exactly. It's for entertainment. Now, if you want to go out and do this for entertaining yourself, fine. Yeah. But if you're really looking for answers, that research has to be there. And that's really what's lacking today in the majority of investigations.
A lot of things that they don't seem to pick up on either is these are highly intelligent beings and they're very, very fussy when it comes to human interaction. And if you're not going to be doing this the right way, or at least trying, they're not going to be bothered. I get people come to me and say, I've been doing this all this time. I never got this. I never got anything else. Well, you know what? One reason might be because you was in the wrong place at the right time. But another reason might just be that, quite frankly, I have, especially TV. I don't even want to go there. Okay. No, let me subject a little bit. Now, do you know what I'm always saying? There must be one goddamn scientist on this entire planet. Yeah? I had a message. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
I am a scientist who accepts your evidence, has experienced my own evidence, has worked in health sciences for over 40 years, and as you explained in this great interview, has been cornered into life working and paying the bills. Well, we'll do that, yeah. This is one industry where you can rapidly lose your vital credibility, reputation, and therefore your ability to obtain grants, perform, engage in research, and the capability to collaborate to publish your results. I know it is in a sense of cowardly of those who are supposed to be actual truth seekers. But mention UFOs, the paranormal to colleagues, and you will never have the esteem you once enjoyed. This said, still must be scientists around that are free of these shackles to seriously undertake your challenge, and I hope somehow you're brought together with them very soon. That's from a scientist, and you know what? He makes a good point. I always say there's got to be one scientist somewhere. There is, but do you know what? They're all scared. That's basically what that is right there, and this is the problem with paranormal research from day one.
Agreed. Scientists won't touch it for the exact reason that he said, is that their reputation is online. And other scientists, as soon as they hear the word paranormal and a scientist with a reputable background is involved in it, they lose that credibility. So, understandably so.
The problem there, the only problem I can see is labels.
Right.
Let's not call it paranormal.
Correct.
Just call it. Maybe we should look at this unexplained phenomena. Now, believe it or not, that unexplained phenomena and the word paranormal are like this. They are totally separate.
Right.
This is the problem. It's all to do with labels. Anyway, this is about you guys. Now then, first of all, tell us what you've been up to recently.
Wow. We've been up to a lot.
I'm sure we're fine, Tony. You're okay.
We have, well, let me just explain. For the last probably 12 years, we focused on EVPs because they were fascinating to us. The fact that we could ask a question, have an answer show up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And before we even listened to what was said on the EVP, we could tell whether it was an adult or whether it was a child. We could tell if it was male or we could tell if it was female. We had a sense of their emotional state. We could tell if they were happy, angry, sad, upset. We could tell what language they were speaking, whether it was English or Japanese or Tagalog or whatever language. We could tell if there was a dialect. So we got this massive amount of information before we even got to what they actually replied in the answer. And that to us was fascinating because all this information flowed in and there wasn't another device that was even close to catching that amount of information in a single capture. So it struck us as so fascinating. That's the road we went down.
Yeah. And that road has led you into a kind of different kind of technology, Tony. Cherie.
It did. It started with
Tell us about that.
Well, it started with EVP, electronic voice phenomena, and then we got interested in ITC, or instrumental trans communication. And technically, by definition, doing an EVP is technically ITC, because the definition of ITC means that you use a third-party electronic device that captures the responses for you, of which you don't have any control of. So if I put a recorder down, ask a question, I don't have control over what answers go to that machine. I'll only know when I replay it.
Okay, but this is where I have to roll back on this a little. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, apart from I have this big problem with calling these goddamn EVPs, and I have had done for many years, which is why I've come up with the AVPs, because as you know, and you've seen me explain this before, by definition, an EVP, electronic voice phenomena, an ambient sound that resembles speech, i.e. audio pareidolia. So every time somebody says, and I've said this many times before, and I hope you don't mind me saying it again, every time somebody says, listen to my EVP, it's fantastic, they're actually saying, listen to my ambient sound, which resembles speech, but it's not really speech. Now, if that's supposed to be from an intelligent entity, and you're saying that's not speech, it makes no sense. The whole EVP phrase, terminology, just needs to go away. Its definition needs to change, because you're literally saying, I've been talking to a ghost and I've got this ambient sound that's not speech. I mean, how does that possibly make any sense whatsoever? Think about that. Come on.
Well,
so,
right.
But yeah, the ITC thing, yeah, totally. I get that. So just my little rant there, as always. Any opportunity, EVP, I would always rant about that because of its definition. What you're describing is something outside of that definition. So therefore, that's why I termed actual voice phenomenon. Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. And one of the biggest complications within the term paranormal is definitely definitions. I mean, they cross on so many different levels that it becomes confusing. I mean, if somebody says a ghost, a spirit, or an entity, which one is which? What's the difference? How do you define? And that scenario goes across EVP, ITC, audible voice phenomena where you can hear it with your own ears. But getting back to all that, but you're absolutely right. How you define something correlates with how it fits together, and the wrong definitions don't allow it to fit.
And it's the labels that's murky the water. I mean, to my mind, I've always classified a ghost as some kind of replay from the past, which is non-intelligent and non-interactive. And a spirit as the opposite. That's the way I've always seen it. I mean, whether it's stone theory or whatever, If somebody once says to me, have you ever seen a ghost? No, what was it? No, I said I've never encountered a ghost. And I was like, well, you talk to Becky and all sorts. Yeah, they are intelligent spirit people.
Right.
Another ghost. I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen something that I can't interact with. You know, so that's how I kind of define the two things. So when everybody's always talking about everything is a ghost, no, I think ghosts are actually extremely rare. Have you ever seen a replay from the past or anything like that? Or if you have, how many times?
Oh, I don't know.
I watched a replay from the past. No, but if I said to you how many spirits have you encountered, you'd probably say, "Wow, I couldn't even count."
Right.
And
No,
that's my point exactly. Now, the problem is with the skeptics and the science, if we're not actually distinguishing between ghosts and spirits, which are you asking them to investigate? Because that's two different subjects.
Agreed. And that's why usually when you're dealing with something that is showing intelligence, we don't even use the term, although we know from communication that they prefer the word spirit. But technically, you're dealing with disembodied consciousness. And that's how when we talk about it and discuss it, is that you're dealing with disembodied consciousness.
Higher beings. They've been there, they've done that, they got the t-shirt. The other thing is, people assume spirits know everything because they're in the spirit world. They actually don't, do they? They don't know everything about everything.
Right.
And they know a lot, but not everything about everything. Okay, so let me roll back now to your methods. You've done the voice recorders. Yep. You've probably done the at some stage. Oh, yeah. A lot of people. I never have, because I can't think of anything worse than being on a 12-hour investigation listening to. Oh my God! Then you've gone beyond all that, and then you got into this direct voice thing.
Right.
Now, I've seen a lot of stuff out there. I'm going to play devil's advocate, Tony.
Okay.
Why should yours be different to the hundreds and thousands of people out there that all say, I've got this equipment, listen to this, it's saying this, it's saying that. Fakery aside, I'm not talking about the people that pretend to talk to the Queen when she's been dead 10 minutes and try and tell everyone she's come to them to speak, and then they do the jump cuts to make it sound. We've done all that in a previous video, okay? So people watching this will be thinking, okay, here's a lovely couple, fantastic. Don't like them, fantastic. What's this, just another trend or something? Is it just another thing that just receives radio waves and just this, and then it gives these voices and words out? That's not the case, is it, Tony?
No, not at all. In fact,
explain how yours differs to everybody else, to a lot of the other communication devices out there.
Okay. Well, we did what's called a spirit box or a ghost box, which is the sounding thing that Don was explaining for 10 years?
Yes.
And we probably built.
No, you don't have to embarrass yourself. You didn't have to say 10 years.
Well, this was the research.
It took you that long to discover maybe there's something better than this. Okay.
Well, and that's the research phase. I mean, let's face it, the paranormal is complicated. It's unknown. Nobody has the answers. And it took us 10 years to figure this out.
Okay.
But the difference is that a spirit box or a ghost box will scan radio frequencies, and it'll literally jump forward or reverse through those radio frequencies. And the concept was that spirits will take the words within broadcasts and rearrange them to create their own sentences. Well, I can tell you now, based on our research, that is not the case. And what we noticed was that when we were using a spirit box, do they work? They can, but you'll get a single word or two and nothing longer than that, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But the responses are super short. And we kept trying to figure out why that was. Well, then we bonded with 2 of our paranormal counterparts who we went out to New York and we did a 4-mansion tour in 4 days.
Oh my God. Yes.
And they were using a method called direct radio voice. And we knew about it. We knew they were doing it, but we got to experience live for 4 days at 4 different locations. And he wasn't getting a word or two answer. He was getting full sentences. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is this possible? Well, direct radio voice, the most well-known person who used it was Marcello Bacci back in like the 1940s or 30s to about the 80s or 90s. I think he was doing it. He did it for like 40 years, but he was getting the same response. So this is all based off of Marcello Bacci's work with direct radio voice. And it used a radio, but it didn't scan stations. It stayed stationary on a frequency that was only producing static white noise. There were no vocals, no radio transmissions, no nothing. And that's how we started out. And did we receive voices? Yes, we did. Then we figured out that we could use software to modulate the frequencies, the background noise, the hertz at which we were listening to, and we could take that white noise and actually separate it into thousands of voices. And then we could pinpoint and zoom in on those particular voices within the white noise band frequency.
Yeah.
So this was amazing. We were literally getting voices where there should be absolutely none. But then we took it another step forward. My major concern with it was that your device for generating the white noise was a radio. And let's face it, from a skeptic standpoint, right, you're still using a radio. And that automatically puts in a skeptic mind, you're getting radio transmission. Well, we ran a test. We were able to remove the radio and use a white noise generator. So there is no radio transmission. There is no capability of radio transmission. There is no mic. There is no signal. There is no nothing. You have a couple of computer chips that create the sound frequency, balance it between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz, all at the same level, and that's all you've got. We were able to then take that, separate it, and get the exact same voices, conversation, and intelligent answers.
Okay. Have you ever, so just asking questions, I don't know if you've done this. If not, I would like you to try it. We're going to get back to the comments in a moment. I'll see is it Suet popping in there quite a lot. Good evening, Suet. We'll get to some of your comments very shortly. Where was I before I just interrupted myself, Tony?
You were saying, have we ever heard before? You were going to say something about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, obviously, this show's not about me, but my method of communication is a digital recorder, and do you know what? In my mind, I do absolutely fantastic with that. I found graves. I've done this. I've done that. Information has been tested, proven, and everything. The people that I work with, so that is not even a consideration of audio pareidolia or anything like that. But using the method you use, have you ever said, can anybody give the answer to say like 10 plus 20 and a voice comes back 30? Or can you say the words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Because to me, that is a very basic, simple test of any method of recording. I could get on there and say, Becky, can you tell me what 120 is? And she'd say, 120. That's beyond doubt, straight away, just that very simplistic method. Have you actually tried that on your device, or
yes.
I know you're getting instances? You have. Okay, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, we were doing an investigation. There were 10 of us in the room, and we literally said, can any spirit tell us how many people are in this room? The answer came back 11. And then somebody said, wait, there's only 10 of us. And then one of our friends pointed out that there was a mannequin in the corner. And so I then said, wait, that one's not a human. That one's a mannequin. How many humans are here? They corrected it immediately and said 10.
I love that shit. There's 11. No one's a mannequin. You couldn't make that up. You just couldn't make that up. You couldn't make that up. Okay, so do you know what, Tony? We've talked about your methods. We've talked about it doesn't work like others, like radio receivers and everything. I actually got something similar but I didn't keep it up. I had a World War One, not World War Two, 1935 Bernadette valve radio. Wow. And I got that because of Barchi. I was trying to replicate what he was doing. And between that and the voice recorder, I was trying to tune it on all these different frequencies and everything. And Becky says, and I was on the dial, down a bit. And she was telling me where to put the dial for this frequency.
Yep.
You know, I didn't have an aerial in the back of this thing. One time only, I heard a male voice and I heard another voice, which is pretty similar to yours. And he just went, Becky.
Wow.
I was sold. All I heard was, shh, Becky. I was sold. You know, after that, I couldn't get another goddamn thing and I tried for a week, so I gave up on it. But what I'm saying is, it works. We don't know what, I mean, even with your equipment, you know, it works to a degree. Even you yourself will admit you're not sure to what degree or what other variables are involved, which you don't even know about. Because if we knew all the variables, Tony, it'd be game over. We'd all be doing really well. We'd all be doing fantastic every time we switched it on.
Right.
I think it's probably maybe time to look at an example of what we've been talking about regarding your equipment and your work.
All right.
Does that sound like a plan to you?
That sounds great.
Okay, so I have a number of clips here. Is there any particular one you would like me to play first? And can you just explain a little bit about it before we actually go into it?
Well, the one we should play is He Can Hear Us. And let me explain. When we started Direct Radio Voice, it's a method, not a device. Like a spirit box, you flip the thing on and it just runs. This is a method, which means every time you do it, you have to adjust for circumstances, for signal strength, for variances within the audio spectrum. So it like I said, it's a method, not a device. Well, this was the first time that I was hearing responses that I said to myself, okay, wait, these sound like intelligent responses to me trying to adjust this method to communicate. And they were saying, he can hear us. He can hear us. And that's when I don't know if you were there when I caught that one or not, but I remember saying, okay, I think I've made a connection. And so this particular 40-second clip or however long it is was that first communication where they were letting me know that we had made a connection. And that's literally what this first one is.
And just like many other pretty new methods, you are still trying and testing this to perfect it. Obviously, it's not perfect yet, as many are not. What's the next stage to trying to improve on this? Just before we go into this clip.
Sure. Well, let me tell you what we've done so far. When dealing with like a vacuum tube radio that you were talking about from the 30s, where you know those vacuums, there's 3 or 4 vacuum tubes in a radio, and they will regulate both the current, the strength of it, and the signal. Well, we're not using a vacuum tube radio anymore. In fact, we're not using a radio at all. So what we were trying to do was make the conversation as clear and as audible as possible. Whereas someone doing EVP work, they'll get the recording of the EVP, and then once they have it on the back end, they'll try to clean it up. They'll try to get rid of noise. We are doing live two-way communication. So all of that has to happen while the communication is happening. The noise has to be reduced. The clarity of the conversation from them has to be as audible and as clear as possible. And then the other thing we did was, because spirits can be known to speak very quickly, sometimes so fast.
That is totally true. That is without doubt. And this is another thing a lot of inexperienced people don't realize. I've seen people do the EVP sessions. EVP. They do their sessions. Okay. Oh no, I've not got shit. I can't hear anything. Slow that down to 0.5 and play back again. And do you know what? You just might be surprised at what you're getting. Every recording I take of Becky, and you've heard my recordings and the clarity and just
yes,
I always play them back at half speed.
Yep.
Always.
So that's exactly what we did. DRV allows us to do live real-time audio slowing. So we can on the playback or the live playback of what we're hearing, we can reduce that to 50%. Now it doesn't change. It's not lengthy enough.
Yeah.
Correct. So that we can hear everything they're saying. And that has increased our understanding of what's being said considerably. Now, what's left to do? A lot. We still have to zero in on the particular voices. We still need to get them additionally cleaner. We need to work on pulling out some of the other voices, because at times there can be hundreds of them trying to speak to us at once.
And that's also a danger area where audio pareidolia could come into it if they're overlaying each other and
Correct. And then I'm sure there's variables we're not even aware of yet that need fixing.
Undoubtedly. I mean, I am my own filter when it comes to the recordings. It's as simple as this. If I can hear it clearly and I'm happy with the people are going to hear it clearly, I'm going to put it out. If I can't hear it, I just scrap it. I don't use the cleaning up. I mean, there's so many teams out there listen to this on YouTube and everything, and it's like, and they're putting other subtitles at the bottom. It's like, what? Because they all sound like Daleks, and you can't make out what they're saying. That's wishful thinking and audio pareidolia at full stop. Right, let's get into this clip now, Tony, that you're just describing. Let me just play this one. He can hear us. Was that one?
That's the one.
Okay, let's play that one now.
Yes, you're connecting.
Okay, I could out of that very, very quickly. He can see us. That's the one that jumps out to me the most from the others, you know. But like I said, you know what, you're more tuned to this than I am. But even as a layman on this, I don't even do this. I heard that. He can see us. That was pretty clear. The only thing the only problem one of the problems I can see with this method is the almost electronic voicey type. You know, no bass, no treble, that kind of spoils the sound a little. You know, could you play that through bigger speakers? Would it sound better instead of playing it through a laptop speaker or something else? Would that give it more depth, more vocal range?
It could. It could. We were running that when we recorded it through a surround sound speaker to a television. So it did have some depth to it. But you got to remember, too, that the method, you monitor the frequency. You literally take the broadband white noise and you turn it from a hissing sound into voices. So you're monitoring frequency level.
There is absolutely nothing there. That is all derived, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, from
right.
That's it.
That's all been filtered. Right.
From anything else, no walkie-talkies, no straight radio broadcasts or anything. That's something, because you know what? White noise should just be a level.
It should be. But that was one of the things with a science background, is that the definition of a broadband white noise spectrum is that every audible tone to the human ear is at a constant level from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So the first thing I thought is, well, what are those sounds at each frequency then? They're all at the same level, but what are they? And that's when we determined their voices.
Does this vary on electronic equipment? Can interfere with electronic equipment. So I've actually tried it with no other electronic, even like turn the house power off or anything else. Could anything be interfering with that, or is there any way you can actually enhance it?
Well, the enhancements, absolutely. Could something interfere? I'm not aware of anything that could. Is it a possibility? It is. But even if something interfered, the mathematical probability that it could give me an answer that from both a timing and relevant standpoint to the question I asked would be 100 million to 1 if it was something of interference. The fact that I can ask them to say my name first and last and I can get it, the fact that I can ask them to find Cherie's mother, or, you know, any other question I ask, to get an answer that is relevant from both a relevant and timing perspective, tells me from a mathematical calculation, it's not interference. It's intelligent response.
Okay, so you're doing all the talking right now, Tony. I get that, but you've got your pretty wife there, and I'm not heard a lot from her right now. So, what's your take on all this?
Well, actually, I support Tony in everything he does.
That's a cop out, short, quick answer. No. What is no? I support Tony. That's I support Tony in a full stop. Literally, your enthusiasm and what you've seen and your whole take on this, apart from I support Tony.
Well, to me, it's also fascinating. Actually, I helped Tony building all his 11 spirit boxes before this DRV.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, Don, I like the Evox that he invented, or actually both of us.
Both of us. It was both of us.
Yes. But this DRV is way, way much better communicating with the spirit. Actually, everything what we do right now, it's just a tools to communicate with the spirits, but technically it's your connection to spirit. If you have connection.
That was my next question. Okay. I wanted an experiment with, it's parapsychologist Steve Murray.
Yep.
And Chris Andrews. We was in a place, we'd all got the same make and model of voice recorder, the Olympus DM670. They always try an experiment, so I asked a question, and we all press record at the same time. Out of all them 3 recorders, one got a clear reply, the other 2 just got nothing. They were blown away from that. And this is an experiment that Steve wanted to try. So, yeah, I find this all the time. Chris Andrews was out on location. He got a recorder. Didn't get anything on it all night. He passed it to me. I did mine first. He went, wow, that's fantastic. You try it on mine. Bang, there was a voice. Okay. Steve Merritt had a recorder. He never got anything on it for years. And this is the first time out with him. Don, can you just try this? Tried it, bang, response straight away. Now, this is a lot of the time. For some reasons we know, but most we don't. It's down to the person operating the equipment. It's not down solely to the equipment. So my next question is this. Tony, I've seen lots of videos of you doing this, as the one we've just seen. I've not seen any of Cherie actually doing this. Cherie, have you done this yet? If so, how did it differ from Tony's? Did it differ from Tony's? Or was Tony even let you try it yet?
You got Bachi.
Oh, yeah. I got Bachi, the one that you...
We're going to play that one tonight.
Yes. Well, actually, you will hear all of Tony's tests. I'm the one actually the one asking.
There's a lot of times she does.
And I get amazing responses. Not to be bribed.
So, and I know you've got other people in your team that have tried the same sort of technology. Okay.
Yeah.
Does the responses also tend to vary person to person and how successful they are? That's my main question. I mean, this is based on my experiences with the recorders.
Absolutely, it does. The person operating it is probably 60% of the equation. The actual electronics itself are much lesser.
I'd agree with that.
When Bachi was doing direct radio voice, he was pulled into a laboratory by scientists, and they one by one pulled vacuum tubes out of the radio to see if he could still.
I was going to mention that later on. Yeah, I know. I was going to mention that later on. Yeah,
and he still got voices. Yeah. And then they told him that if they pulled the last vacuum tube, they'd eat it. If he still got voices, he did. Of course, he told them not to eat it. That's glass. Don't eat that.
This is about radio.
Right. But it was only Bachi that could use that radio and get those responses, because other scientists, other people used his exact same radio and got no responses.
Nothing. Yeah, so this is why I went back to my question, what I just asked you, Cherie, about, you know, do you, how, and your team, how, you know, and you've answered that fantastically. Brilliant. Okay. So what else have we got on here, Mr. Rathman, Mrs. Rathman?
All right.
Oh, before we do that, let's get into the comments. Let's have a little look, shall we?
All right.
Let me have a little look what we got going on down here. Hold on a second.
We got quite a few viewers.
That's always good. Private chat. No, I don't want that comments. There we go. Right. Let me just scroll up first of all. Mandy Lee. She's an avid follower of the Supernatural Files. I put my alarm on at 4:30 a.m. She's actually in the UK. Fantastic. Fantastic. What else we got down here? Let me have a little look. Good day from Australia, from Suet. Okay. Good day. Happy New Year. And then he says, debunk as best as you can. Never assume it's paranormal. Throw it at your audience and ask them what you can do to attempt to reproduce it, and then go out and try to reproduce it. Good point.
Yep.
And then he says, pareidolia is a major issue as you're out there wanting to find seeking, and so your mind will do what it can to see here what you are seeking, seeing through your own pareidolia. Some can't do. And you know, that's a really important point.
Yes.
I am so critical of other people's work. There, I said it. But I'm equally critical of my own work.
Right.
I apply the same rules to myself that I do to other people. And he's absolutely right. And this goes back to the skepticism thing. To a lot of paranormal investigators, skeptic, bad word. Cross to a vampire. No, I've said this many, many times before. Skepticism is part of your toolkit. If you've not got that in your toolkit, I'm sorry, you are not a paranormal investigator or a paranormal researcher. You're just a wishful thinker.
Well, exactly. And you know what? You got to be twice as skeptical of your own stuff, because if you're going to put it out to an audience that you're saying you believe this to be paranormal, you better make 100% sure there's not a reasonable or rational explanation for it, or you've destroyed your own credibility of saying it's paranormal. And that is crucial to us when we put something out.
I started out many, many years ago, as you know. I'm getting old. And the first thing was...
We are getting old.
Duh. Gracefully older. That's me. So the first thing was, I will be doing this all the time. And all I got, the shit I got was, oh, he's recording from one to the other. These people who didn't realise if I was actually playing one and recording onto the other, you would hear it. Clearly, that's what I was doing. Then it was, he's using trick recording. Since then, I've actually gone into a great detail explaining that all recorders have a slightly very different frequency, even the same make and model. And and that is why, literally, that is why I use two recorders. Right, we've just had let me have a look here. That's awesome, Tony.
But you're absolutely right to the point about having multiple recorders. I mean, if it was a sound wave based on the physical properties of a sound wave, if you had recorders even a couple feet apart or even 10 feet apart, that sound wave would permeate every recorder in that area. When you can have you ever heard to play one and record on the other, the amount of crap that comes back from it? Seriously, you wouldn't even go there. Let me just jump into here quickly. What was that say? Gingisaka. That's awesome, Tony. Wow, that's quite a name. Okay. Hi, Sammy. That's Sammy. Elise Marie, fantastic. Sammy K, hello, Donnie. Hope a good new year. Yes, I did. Same to you. Let's just scroll down here a little bit, Tony. Sure.
That was wicked cool. I can appreciate what you're doing there. And that would be to you guys, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
Suet. I'm going to call you Suet. Leading the conversation is good. Getting responses to your questions. Sammy K. Let's see what we've got down here. Sammy again. I'm still unsure what my thoughts are on spirit box because it sounds too fuzzy, not certain. You know what, Sammy? We're not talking spirit boxes tonight. This is not a spirit box. Spirit box, no, we don't do spirit boxes. I don't even entertain the idea of, each to their own, but I never have and never will entertain the idea of spirit boxes. Sierra, Hi everyone, I'm glad I'm here. New follower from Arizona. Glad I found you. Well, I'm sure it's a lot warmer over there than it is right here right now. Oh, Patty's on. Hi, Craig.
Yes,
okay, that's confusing. Who's Craig? Don't know who Craig is. I can't see Craig on here. Oh yeah. There he is. Hey, Geo. Okay. Pence, everybody I'm late, that doesn't matter. Sierra again, it's hard to get things on video or pictures as proof and have people just believe you, especially if they're not in the spirit world. Do you know what, Sierra? This is true. Getting people to believe you is the thing. Now, when I started out, quite a ways back, I was putting stuff on YouTube. And I had a lot of followers. Fantastic. We love that. How interesting. The people that counted were the people like Steve Mayer, the parapsychologist. Yeah, okay, it's obviously fake. So what I did, and I didn't argue with all the skeptics, you know, I can't be bothered with that shit. But what I did was, I surrounded myself with the very people that were there to debunk me, including Steve Mayer. I asked him to come out with me, and he wouldn't 3 times because he thought it was fake. I'm not going to get into the long haul story of this, but then when he did come out, he was blown away. And me and Steve had done so much work together. So yeah, the thing is, if you're going to surround yourself with people that actually debunk you and actually end up endorsing you, that's a good place to be.
Yep.
Right, Geo, they all get amazing voices. Who's that? Ghost Club, something Christian Haunted Arizona. Okay. Right, Tony, so we finished. No, I'm only kidding. Let's get into the next clip. We've got quite a lot loaded up here, and you know, if my beautiful wife is watching from in the house, I love you, sweetheart.
All right. Well, the next one you can play because this was kind of shortly after the very first communication, but my paranormal counterpart Ron Iacovetti and I all once or twice a week we're online. We're doing additional research with DRV. And we were getting this horrible echo through StreamYard trying to get both of our systems connected. So we're trying to figure out where this echo's coming from. And we get a spirit response through the direct radio voice of what they believe the problem was, which was clearly us. And they express that. So I think that's about an 11-second clip. Oh, no, it's 38 seconds. But go ahead and play that. And even though the echo is really bad, you'll hear the spirit response. And it's that'll bring us into the next clip after that.
Okay, so what's the name of that clip?
DRV Idiots.
I wonder what that was. I thought I just typed DRV Idiot. Okay, just explain the idiots bit to me.
Yeah, that's clearly what they called us because we were getting this echo. We couldn't figure out why we were getting the echo, and they called us idiots.
Okay, let's hear this one.
Yeah. Okay, I don't understand where this is coming from. Is there an echo now?
No. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, there's no echo now. Is your sound coming out more than one place there?
No.
Idiots.
I heard it.
I heard that. I definitely heard the word idiots.
Yep. It was clear as can be.
You can't really confuse with anything else.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, right. Let's go to. Let's see what we got here. Tell me about what is white noise filtration? What's that clip?
Well, save that one for last because these actually progress as the DRV progressed, and you were asking about if Cherie asks questions and whether she gets answers. This one called Bocce is her asking questions to Marcello Bocce and him responding to her.
Really?
Really.
Wow. Okay, this is quite a long clip. It's 2 minutes, 16 seconds. After this, I'm going to invite anybody that wants to call in and ask you questions or me questions.
Okay, that clip's only 120, so make sure it's the first bocce, not the second one.
Oh, is that two? Hold on. I've got, let me see. Can you hear us, DV idiots? But 120. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Spirits, can you please try to communicate with us through this device?
Who's watching?
Bocce, that was clear. Do you want us to do the rumbling?
Bocce, are you keeping track of what we're doing?
Marcello, can you see us?
Yes.
Thank you. Marcello, you started this method. It's working. Can you please try to communicate with us?
Okay. Right. Out of all that, and I have to play devil's advocate, and because I'm listening like viewers will be listening.
Yep.
I certainly heard, out of all that, despite the subtitles and everything, I heard, was it ask us to be nice to you or something?
Yep.
Full sentence, I heard that totally clearly. In the Bocce, totally clear. 100%. Could it have been something that sounds like that? It may have been, but you know what? Bocce is quite a singular word to just stand out from everything else. So kudos, my friends.
Yeah, and I'm sure you heard the "I'd say glad to meet you." I mean, that is clear as hell.
Yeah, to you, because this is what you use all the time. To me, I'm on the fence on that one, and I have to be honest, Tony. You are some of my favourite people on the planet, and I will always be honest.
Thank you.
And that is why you love me so much. Admit it. Come on. Okay. Right. Fantastic. Actually, but you know what? You only need maybe the one or the two, and I got that from that clip. Ask me to be nice to you or something like that was a full sentence. Right. I heard that straight off the bat. I didn't need to read the subtitles. And this is what I do. I differentiate between what I'm hearing and the subtitles. I wasn't even looking at the subtitles.
Well, you know, and that's the best thing to do. That's the best way to handle it if you are involved with EVPs or ITCs, because you know what you hear, and everybody knows that when you put up words, that it can influence what you think you're hearing.
Exactly.
But a lot of people,
there was no influence on them two parts that I heard out of all that. They're the two parts I would say I have to be honest, 85%, which is a pretty good number.
Yeah, well, thank you. We put up
but as that was that what was being said, I want 85% because you've got to leave that little margin in there for.
Sure.
Okay.
Of course.
I think
I
think that's it.
We only put up the subtitles because a lot of people that follow us aren't involved on a daily basis with EVP and ITC, and there is a learning curve to your own hearing. I mean, I remember the first EVP we ever got 13 years ago. We were fighting about what was being said. It took me a week listening to it before I could even understand what I thought were the words. And it's a training process, no doubt about it.
Put it this way. During World Wars, the coders, the code breakers, if a general person listened, they'd say, I can't hear shit. The code breakers are trained and attuned to what they was listening for. From that, they'll be able to get that. You know the code breakers during World War I, World War II, you know?
Right.
Their ears are attuned to what they're listening for. And they have, like us, like me, like myself, if you play static, you have to listen through the static in your mind and separate the two. You can actually do that to hear sometimes what's actually being said.
Absolutely.
A lot of people will go, that's the first thing that's what they're focusing on, because that's the loudest thing they can hear. When you can hear through that, it opens up a whole new world.
Yep. No, that's completely true. It is a process, and it your hearing does adjust to being able to pick out, and that takes time. But that's why we would have the subtitles. We'll show these things on our Monday night show. We'll share them over YouTube. And a lot of people just aren't there yet, and they can't hear them. But over time, you do become aware. And that is the thing with white noise. I mean, scientists will tell you over and over that anybody that's hearing voices in white noise, it's an audiodolia. They don't exist. I don't agree with that.
Stop. Scientists, how can they comment on anything when they've not put the research and the funding to actually investigate the phenomena properly? You can't make a conclusion. That, you know what, it brings me back to a thing a couple of weeks ago I mentioned it on the last video. Scientists prove that ghosts do not exist because they proved it by playing a certain frequency. Was it at 18 hertz to people, and then they felt they were being watched? Like I said before, you're not proof shit. Just because you can replicate an effect, it does not mean that was the effect that caused this in the first place.
Exactly.
You know, so and how do you get to this? We proved it. What's we proved it all about? No, you know what, Tony? We have proved it.
Well,
That
exactly.
is the important thing. We have proved it. They have not proved shit other than to how to replicate something to get the result that they're after. I'm not going to argue the fact that it's not possible that this frequency makes people feel like they're being watched or haunted. That's fine. But please do not go down the path. We proved it when you're not actually investigating properly the subject, putting the funding in and speaking to the people and working with the people that actually matter.
Exactly. Well, and the other problem with science is that all of their applications apply to our earthbound 3D world. They do not apply to the paranormal. They can't even comprehend, let alone apply that 3D world specifics that apply to the here and now to the paranormal, because there is not even a match, and nothing is going to match. Nothing.
And you know, I've said this before, CERN. And do you know what? We put hundreds of millions and billions or whatever dollars into CERN, and what have we found? Nothing.
Right.
We've actually got more evidence to support our claim of spirits and the afterlife on our methods than CERN's actually done with anything since it actually started. In fact, they've just disproved their own theory on the Big Bang. I don't know if you heard about that. Did you hear about that?
Oh, of course. Right. Exactly.
Wow. That's a big one. That's a really big one. That's a really big one.
Right.
Yeah, it changed everything. But you will not see that advertised and bounded around all over the place, because you know what? It's science. Okay, so let me just jump back into the comments here. Let's see what we got here. Hello, Don. Hope you had a good New Year. I'm having a fantastic New Year. And I hope everybody else has a fantastic New Year as what I do. Let's just scroll down here. Craig. Right. Sammy, personally, I don't hear much of what is claimed to be said, but I'm talking about most paranormal channels. Okay. The way Don does it on his recorder is on point. I've tried the recorder, but nothing yet. Okay, Sammy, that's good. Thank you. Let's see what else we got further down here. Suet, I found the people don't want to entertain the possibility that something might not be paranormal. Obviously, went back to our discussion way back when we was talking about being your own worst skeptic. Okay, that's fine. What we got here. Is this Tony and Cherie's channel? No, this is Don Phillips and the Supernatural Files. If you're on the wrong one, you have to jump. Okay. I think I found them. So I've tried that and only hear gibberish. Anyone looking for Tony's end? Okay, he says, anyone looking for Tony and Cherie's channel? I believe it's Entity Voices. Let's do a shout out to Entity Voices. Yeah.
That is correct. That's the channel.
Voices YouTube channel. Lots of fantastic stuff on there. Plus, they're absolutely fantastic people. So get on there, guys. Get your asses on there and subscribe. So sometimes I hear, this is the last comment, exactly what they said they hear. There you go, Tony. There you go.
Thank you, Stu.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for subscribing. I just
I
saw it
know.
pop up on my other monitor. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Right, what else have we got, Tony, for us this evening, my friend? Let's have a look.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the next one, which is titled, give me 1 second. It's called DRV, Ron, Tony, and Bocce. But before you play it, let me explain what happened here. So the one we just watched where Cherie was asking, Bocce, this is your method. Can you respond? Can you communicate with us?
Right.
A day or two later, Ron Iacovetti, who we learned this method from, he was doing a DRV session. And what you're about to watch, he captured. Now, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're in New Jersey. So we are literally across the country from another. But what this shows is A, intelligence. B, it shows that spirits are not bound to time or space. They can travel any distance, communicate anywhere they need to without any locks or boundaries. So he sent this to me and he said, this is what they said. And so I'll let you play it. And then I'm going to add a couple more statements because after he responded to what they asked, our communication took off like crazy the next day when we ran it again. So go ahead and play that clip.
What's that called again?
It's called DRV, Ron, Tony, and Bocce.
Coming right up.
Hey, Tony's my friend. I would agree. Can you say entity voices?
Okay. Now again, playing devil's advocate. Some things I heard in there totally clear. Others I'm going to be on the fence about. But again, Tony, I'm being absolutely honest with you, and you would appreciate that.
No, I always do appreciate that. But let me play devil's advocate to devil's advocate.
Hold on. I don't want to. I'm not dissing it. But me, like many of the people watching it, they would have heard some things and not others. But the point being is, there's some things that you heard, which means the system works.
Correct.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. So yeah, again, it was just incredible that we were both hearing the name Bocce.
I heard
that
that.
they literally asked him if I was his friend, and then he said yes, and then they literally said, "I'm asking," and then once he answered yes, he's my friend, it was almost as if they were asking for permission, because he had been doing this a couple years before I started.
Mhm.
And they were asking for permission. Is he okay to speak with? Are we okay to communicate with him? And when he said yes, it was the next day I turned that thing on, and I had voices coming left and right out of nowhere. So that was fascinating.
Sorry, slightly distracted. Sorry again. Any chance you can link Tony and Cherie's channel, Don? Absolutely every single chance. I'm just looking at some comments now. Sammy, hello Sammy. Fascinating, Don. From that, what is that? Dude, change your name already. What is it? Jingsy Car. Oh, Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan.
Hi.
Genghis Khan. Okay, we're okay now. We got that for you. Change your name. Craig, that was wicked cool. I appreciate what you're doing there. That will be you guys. Right on, Tony and Cherie. Okay, that's good. What else have we got? Oh, Patty Phillips, absolutely amazing woman. In case you didn't know, she's my wife.
Yeah,
Hi, Patty.
And my husband. I love that girl so much. She has no idea. Well, she should do. I married her. Let me see what we got going on here. Personally, oh no, we've done that one. Let's come down the bottom here a little bit. Let me see what we got. I think lowercase font use don't show. I think lowercase font use doesn't show up properly on mobile phones. Okay, well, we can't do a whole lot about that. But do you know what we can do right now? Hold on, guys. Hold on. 1 second. You can now call your questions to myself about my work or Tony Street about theirs. The number is, which I made up today, +1, which is Sierra Leone, 425-374-0858. You can do that via Skype. That's not a problem. So I'll just give that number out again. In fact, hold on a second. I have a cunning plan. Check that out. There you go. Was that a good plan, Tony? I think that was a really good plan.
That'll work. That'll work great. It's nice to hear from the audience and questions that they have. So this will be great.
Make sure my phone's got some charge. That would be good, wouldn't it?
It helps.
Well, you know what? I mentioned before, Tony, you know what? We put this stuff on YouTube and you get all these lovely people that make some really nice comments and everything. And they're just comments numbers on YouTube. But you know what? They're not. These are like real people behind them comments. And I just think it's really good to actually give them the opportunity to connect.
Agree. I agree.
Because they are important. They are our supporters.
I agree.
Completely. Work.
Yeah, well, there'd be no reason to do any of this if people didn't have an interest, weren't watching or paying attention. I mean, that otherwise, the whole point would be pointless.
Yeah.
Okay, I would also invite, I mentioned this before, to a lot of investigators and researchers, skeptics. I would invite any skeptics to call us as well. Okay, with their questions to myself, my work, or Tony Street and their work, because this is important. We should all actually be working together. There's this kind of grey area where you got the skeptics and the believers. That's another problem with the whole paranormal field. This separation. I'm not talking about cynics. They're a whole new quagmire of crap. We'll leave them in the swamp. But genuine skeptical people with questions, absolutely fine. So anyway, now guys, you can call. I hope it rings. That might be embarrassing if it doesn't. What are we going to do then? Make one up? I'll get Paddy to call us and pretend she's Okay, so where are we at now, Tony? Shall we move on to the next clip?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what we got now. How are we doing with this show? I think it's been pretty damn good, actually.
I agree.
I've never hosted a show before, ever. I've been on lots of people's shows. I've never actually hosted a show.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
I think this is going pretty good. I really do. It's casual, it's friendly, and we've got some fantastic guys on here.
Fantastic
Anything else you want to talk about,
audience.
guys? You can throw that in as well. Any other topics, because we can talk about the weird and the wonderful and the unexplained. Let me just see what I've got going on here. All right, let me see. Okay. Right. We have some more clips, Tony.
We do.
3.
The next one's titled White Noise Filtration. And this was the first time, or second time, I think, that we removed the radio from the equation. And I think we might have lost on, but I'll keep the show going, not a problem. We actually removed the radio. So the white noise was generated from a world band radio on a shortwave frequency. Long wave frequency, sorry. And we were using 14,400. But the concern with it was that we were still using a radio, and anyone with a skeptic frame of mind is going to say, you're using a radio in the equation, you're picking up some sort of radio wave, and it's transmitting through your system, and that's what you think you're getting for answers.
I guess Don
is calling. Hold on one second. Hello?
Oh, there he is.
You're back. You're back. Here, I'll add you back in.
To that, I was kind of. Hold on a second. Am I on there? Oh, wait.
You're on.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You're getting echo.
Yeah, we're getting echo.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back. I don't know what the hell happened there, Tony.
Somehow you got bumped off. I'm not sure, but we kept talking, so it's fine. But the point is that this particular one no longer uses a radio of any type. It is a white noise generator. There is absolutely no way for a radio transmission to come through it. It's an absolute impossibility. So we are literally dissecting the broadband white noise down to those hundreds of voices talking at each level and frequency, filtering it to 4 or 5 voices, and then asking questions and getting intelligent responses from white noise.
Before we play this clip, we've got these, as you would say, hundreds of voices. Okay. And the equipment that I'm not going to say generates the sounds, because it's not the equipment generating the sound, obviously. Okay.
No.
So you're filtering all these sounds coming in. Is this just one filter applied? Are there several filters? Is there some kind of overlay going on, or anything like that? I'm just asking questions that the viewers might be asking.
There's multiple filters, from noise gates to frequency adjustment to background noise to
so you got several filters going on all at the same time.
Correct.
That's important, Tony. Obviously, that is really, really important. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So let's jump to this clip again. Which one was it?
White noise filtration.
Okay.
Hey, Anthony Rathman. Tony, I heard Tony. I'm assuming our spirit lives on. Yes. How long are we in the other life? Do we have the choice to come back and live again here on Earth? Yes. Is it easy to communicate with this direct radio voice method? Richie, I heard someone say Richie. Yes, okay. Will you share information with me, please? Spirits, I don't mean to test you with boring questions, but can you tell me my wife's name? Can you show me how to make this so I can hear you clearer? Am I speaking with spirit? How many spirits are with me right now? 10? I hear quite a few voices. Is Becky an angel?
Okay. The one thing that jumps out to me there, when you said, is Becky an angel? I don't know if you've actually picked up on this. There's a sentence there that says, she is forever. Have you heard that one?
Oh, yeah.
Have?
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
Well, that's
then there's a correct.
Yeah.
She is forever, then a correct, and then there's another one after it.
Okay. When we talk about angels and Becky, I don't use the word angel. She angelic being, as in her capabilities and everything. Yeah, but you know, it comes to labels again, doesn't it?
Right.
I think the biggest problem for me, and the biggest problem for our audience right now, is trying to separate everything. Because, like you said, there's so much stuff going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, you ask a question, you get an answer. You're listening for that specific answer, okay? But there's like loads going on. You know, would it work? I mean, I don't know if this would work. If you could say, guys, spirity people, wondrous beings, can everybody just shut up and one person answer one question?
We've done that.
Easier because
done it many times.
You know, you are tuned into something, and that is not in doubt. But the difficulty in trying to separate what you're listening to from all that's going on, wow, that's a lot. Apart from the very specific ones, which is interesting, where she's forever. All that was going on, and I heard that, and you've actually said that's what you'd already heard that as well. That's important among all that stuff that's going on. And John, the other thing is as well, when you played your work out to people on Facebook, YouTube, etc., okay, there's a lot of people saying, I hear this, I hear that, I hear the other, you know. Oh, we have a call. Hold the front page. Speakerphone, 1 second. Hello? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, it's the wife.
I'm doing
a test. It's the wife. She's doing a test.
Hi, wifey.
This is why I married this goddamn woman. Yeah, yeah, do you know what, darling? It totally works. Yes, you are totally going out all over YouTube and every Facebook and everywhere right now. This is Paddy. Yes. You better say Happy New Year to everybody while you're there.
I what?
You better say Happy New Year to all our followers and viewers and Cherie and Tony.
Happy New Year, Paddy.
There you go. This is why I'm married. We can hear you fine.
I just wanted to do a test.
Yeah, your test.
So, to make sure it works. So
thank you.
Call in with your questions. Come on.
Everyone needs to call in with your questions. You see now, my wife, God bless her, has now just embarrassed us because now I cannot say we had technical difficulties. She now took that away from me.
No.
That means nobody's called in, which is.
You know what? I just have a comment. Tony and Cherie, I am impressed.
Thank
you. Thank you very much.
I mean, I have, but not like this. I am so impressed. And I have been doing this for a long time, you know? So,
thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Patty.
Huh?
Okay, my darling.
Yeah. So that's my comment. I didn't have a question because I know everything.
Yeah, you know everything. Of course you do. Anyway, I have a question. No. Stop. I know Paddy's suffering a real terrible cold, but you will be here tonight in some context because I'm out of cigarettes. So can you bring me 3 or 4 of yours?
Oh, you gotta be kidding! Like you don't smoke enough?
No, I'm not kidding at all.
I don't want anyone seeing me because I'm
Nobody's gonna see you at all, darling. Okay. Okay, sweetie. All right. I'll see you in about 30 seconds.
See you, Patty.
Love you lots. Bye, darling.
Love you too. Bye.
How nice of her to do a test call for
I
us.
know.
Hey, we've been married. Oh, when is it? February? We've been married a year. Check that shit out.
Wow. Time. That year went by fast.
You know what? Marriage to me was close to a vampire. You know, wasn't going to do it. Too many variables, shall we say? And then Paddy happened. What can I say? she's one of the good ones. I swear to God. And I got to say that obviously she's watching. No, she will be. If I do anything, or they won't get my cigarettes. So there we go. Anyway,
all right.
Okay, so that was. I struggle a little because I would like to say I'm on the fence still, but I can't be on the fence because I've heard things tonight which there is no doubt that is what is being said. So I've gone kind of from on the fence to slightly off of the fence right now. You know, like I said, you know, you only need a certain amount of intelligible answers. You know what? It doesn't matter if you play 100% and 90%. You're like, I don't know. It's that extra percentage when you can hear, you know,
right.
like Becky is forever. That was there clearly in plain English. Okay, It wasn't perfect because of the distortions and everybody else talking. Oh, the front page again. This could be a genuine call.
All right.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing, Don?
Who's this?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear. Are you in Australia?
Can you hear me, Don?
Are you in Australia?
Yeah, I'm in Australia, mate. This is Mark Suit.
It's Mark Suit. It's the guy that's been commenting.
Oh, nice.
Suit.
Hi, Mark, and welcome to the show. Fantastic. A real cool, guys.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't have to subscribe, so I thought I'd just try ringing on the normal phone.
Yeah, that works too. What can I do for you, sir?
A bit of a delay.
Yeah. What can I do for you?
I was going to interrupt with your show and give you a question, as you've been asking for questions.
Yeah, we like questions.
So my question is, we've got so many paranormal investigators around the world, and we've got so many haunted houses where there's meant to be violent haunts where they throw furniture around, yet we're yet to see anyone capture any. What are your thoughts on that? Why aren't we able to capture these poltergeists?
Okay, right. So did you hear that, Tony?
Yeah, we did.
There's lots of...
I'll just hang up now and get back to the stream because...
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I really appreciate your call. Thank you. I will answer that very, very promptly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Fantastic. A genuine caller. Did you see that? The first one. I think we should give him a gold star. And he should be setting the standards for everybody else out there who's so curious and yet nobody's calling the phone. Okay, so
I love his accent.
It's Australia.
I know.
And Australian, British, American. Fantastic. Okay, so he said there's so many hauntings out there, and there's apparently aggressive ghost spirits, poltergeists, so furniture. How come no one's ever caught that on camera? I think that's right. That's what he was saying. Well, obviously, the problem is, if you want to YouTube especially, everybody's caught everything on camera. But I'll let you answer in a minute, Tony, but I'll put my perspective on this.
Sure.
Okay. These things are rarer than shit. That's the short version. You can forget your YouTube with cupboards flying open and this and that and everything else. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've investigated it all. Trust me. His name's Mark, by the way. They are very, very rare occurrences, although they do actually happen. But it requires. There's a poltergeist. Oh no, it's the wife. Sorry, Mark. Come on in. Delivery.
I was like, what is that?
You can't get in because you broke the door that time. It's supposed to slide. And one time she had a few couple of bottles of wine. She come in, she opened it this way, pulled it, and it's not. Okay, it's all gone tits all right now, guys. You know, we do real. Hello, darling.
I hope I didn't step in any dog crap.
You don't say things like that when we're live. What's wrong with you? This is the wife. It was not going to be on camera under any circumstances.
No, and you know what? Because don't show her.
Well, this is the picture. AKA Sophia. There we go. Okay, you can go now. We're done.
All right, bye. I'm going back in.
Hey,
Bye.
people love this shit. Thank you, darling.
Okay, get a room. You too.
Okay, you're done. Now you can go.
Okay.
Close the door behind you.
Okay.
We'll get back to Mark in a second.
Where's Sophia?
She's right behind you. Take it with you.
Take it?
Yes. It wasn't. It peed on the carpet today. It made it an it. Take it away.
Oh, and there's the cat.
There's the cat. She can come in.
No.
This is the wonderful thing about live, and it's only you just don't know what is going to happen or when it's going to happen.
It always keeps it interesting. That's what I love about live.
Yeah, and we don't fake any shit. I've got to say, people, Tony today accused me of being fake. Cherie, did you know that?
I did?
Did you know that? He accused me of being fake. Tony.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't remember doing that.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, the candles.
that like these candles, he thought they,
they were battery operated.
You thought they was like them little LED ones. No, you know what, dude?
It's a real
this
candle?
is the supernatural. This is the supernatural files. We only do real. Okay, so I'm going to light my candles. Then I'm going to get back into Mark and answer his question in detail.
I thought they were battery
I'll say
operated.
sorry for the interruption.
Oh my gosh.
I would say
Be
sorry for the
careful
interruption.
on that.
What?
Be careful on that. You don't want to catch fire.
You sound like a wife.
Yes, I am.
She sure does.
You see
Careful.
here, guys, on the supernatural files, everything is real. You see that, Tony? That's a real flame.
I see that.
Yeah, so you cut that crap. Don't you call me fake ever again.
I will not accuse you of using battery operated candles again.
No, you basically said I was fake. That's just totally shattered your argument right there. Okay. You know, I love this live share. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And this is what the supernatural files is all about. The real.
Yep.
This is why we smoke, we have wine, we have a great time. You know, because it's important. It's important. Right. Anyway, getting back to Mark. Sorry, Mark, for the interruption from my amazingly fantastic wife. He's saying how people don't catch things on camera. The thing is, Mark, they do often catch things on camera, but trying to differentiate the fact between what's fake and what's real, that's a whole different world, isn't it, Tony?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many. The fact that it is a minute occurrence, does it occur? Yes, it does. But it doesn't occur like you see on television where there's, multiple occurrences in the evening, and every time certain investigators go out, they get possessed. That does not occur on a regular basis. And
Well,
I was just going to say, and to be in the right place at the right time and to have equipment, recording, to capture, if you do happen to get something, and it has been captured, you're lucky, because majority of people will go their lifetime trying to capture something like that and not capture it.
The main problem being is you don't know when it's going to happen. Do you know what's happened in this place, not in the Becky shed, but in the home in the last 3 weeks?
Well, you were given indications of things, noises.
You know, and this is me telling you, I have a reputation to protect, which is why I would never ever bullshit or embellish everything, because
That we know.
honesty in this field is a very rare commodity.
Yep.
And people's imagination. I don't do the imagination. I don't do the embellishing. I don't do the bullshit. This is why people like the Supernatural Files. I was sitting in the other editing suite thing with the big green screen room. Okay, in the house.
Right.
There's a shelf which sits this far, which is what's that, about 5 feet, 5.5 feet off? No, about 5 feet off the floor.
Yeah.
And it was right over the other side. The distance from that side to the other side of the sliding patio doors is about 12 feet. I was sitting there, Paddy just walked up the dog in the garden, walked past me, walked through the door to go into the hallway. I should actually have had that. This Logitech mouse, which takes 2 AA batteries, not the little ones, the bigger ones, you know, quite a big Logitech mouse.
Right.
It literally, I was sitting there, flew off of the shelf, straight across the room, and hit the bottom of the patio doors and just went. But it went with so much force, like someone had picked it up and went like that. Absolutely fascinating. And I put this on Facebook talking about this. Now, normally, I would never put anything out I can't substantiate with video, but you know what? I just had to. And I'm relying on my reputation as being honest that people would believe that's what happened. Right. It was incredible. To all intents and purposes, it's poltergeist activity. Now, I've been saying to Becky for a little while now, Becky, can we have a poltergeist? I want to speak to a poltergeist. Get a poltergeist in here. She said one time, they can be very, very dangerous. I don't know if you actually saw that video clip I put out a long time ago.
I don't remember that one. I'll have to go back and take a look.
But let me tell you where this started. When we first moved in, and I'm going to put this clip up, actually on the next Supernatural Files, I'm going to play this clip. I was walking on my video camera on my iPhone. Okay. Just looking at what I've got to do. Me and Paddy were there. This male voice, as clear as I'm talking to you now, and this place was a shithole when we bought it. You know that. It was a shithole. Okay. And we paid. We didn't really particularly get it cheap, but it was a shithole. But I saw the potential. I'm walking around. Okay, bathroom, I've got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm walking through the bedroom. This male voice comes in, and he literally says, as clear as I'm talking to you, and bear in mind, you do not get static on a mobile phone. I don't know how they could have lived like this.
Wow.
You've not seen that. Nobody has. But I'm going to put this out on the next episode of the Supernatural Files.
Awesome.
This guy, this unknown guy, I don't know who he is, but he's obviously resident here. Okay. I don't know where he's from or anything yet. Now, this is the same guy. Paddy came in another time, not long ago, from the garden through the patio doors to go through the door to go through the hallway into the lounge. And the door opened, literally opened. It opened, literally. Now, this door, and I'm going to take a video of this to substantiate this on the next episode. This door cannot open itself. It's not a slightly hinged door where it goes this way or that way. In fact, it's to the opposite direction. If you hit this door from the other side, it will not swing open. It can't. It's leveled to stay closed. Okay. This door went wide open, literally just wide open. And I just looked at it, what? And Paddy just went, oh, thank you. And then, anyone that knows me knows about my squirrels. Okay, we have a lot of wild squirrels which have tail reaching up my leg and take little nuts and everything. And I'm feeding the squirrels, and this little squirrel comes running up to me, and I've got this on video as well. And this voice again, so a very short word. He went, okay, fantastic. And then the other night, and this was this 4 nights ago. I'm in the bedroom, and you know when you get your bed sheet cover, what do you call them, comforters or whatever we call them. It's slightly bigger than the bed. It's hanging over, and it leaves a big thing hanging over the corner. I'm standing a foot away from this thing, and it literally went like this, right in the air, and come down.
Wow.
And I actually replicated that, and the only way I could do that is to walk by the bed and catch it with my leg on purpose to lift it right up. So it's like somebody actually walked straight past me. Absolutely fascinating. And then we got the big flashing light in the ceiling, which you've obviously saw on my Facebook page, which I was
I remember you saying that.
after we've finished on this, I'm going to speak to Becky tonight and the guys about what that was about, because I did a little Google search and then on my Facebook page, and lots of people are reporting these sort of things.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people will be, oh my God, I'm in a haunted house. What's going on? Do you know what? I love this shit. This is my back garden. This is my playground. So whether it's a poltergeist or whatever, I invite it and everything. And I always said to the guys here, do you know what? Just be yourselves. So was it just a guy coming through a spitty person having a bad day? I have no idea. But I will find out from Becky exactly what's going on, because there is no information currently out there about these big flashes of light anywhere.
Right.
Now, when this light appeared, it was like about 5 or 6 feet in diameter. Now, this is the interesting thing, Tony. If you're normally going to light the flashes, it would light the whole room up. This actually didn't at all. I was just seeing the flash of light and the darkness around it. It didn't light anywhere up in the room. And I put this on Facebook as well. It's almost as like, imagine you've got a camera flash and you're standing behind the camera.
Yeah.
It's not flashing towards you, it's away from you.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So that's another little question I need to endeavor to inquire about.
Yeah, and you said it didn't light up the whole room?
No, not at all. And the only way I can see that happening is if it was actually flashing outwards, upwards, instead of inwards. It didn't light me up, it didn't light or anything. It was just literally poof. It was absolutely fascinating. And coming from me, Tony, I don't embellish things. I do not lie. That is exactly how it happened.
Yeah, I've no doubt everything you're saying is true, because we know that of your reputation, and that's fascinating, though. Absolutely fascinating.
All right, let me go back to the comments. What we got down here? Thank you, Patty, by the way. Oh, bless her. Okay, hold on. So we got here. He is a lot, which is once. Oh, hang on. I heard Becky is a spirit. That was at 10:10. Okay, I heard Becky is a spirit. That must have been when you was playing one of your clips. Okay, Juries. Don, are UFOs and the supernatural entities, are they the same guys with different appearances? Personally, I would say absolutely not, as far as we can actually understand it. Now, you know what the thing is this? Becky, I have a lot of attributes because of my union with Becky, and I say union quote unquote because it is literally a union. I won't go any further. But what's that? Who's creaking? Is that you, Cherie?
Yeah,
it's his armrest.
She's
I'm not party.
Hey, hold on. Was it the armrest, or did you let a sneaky one out? Go on, you can be honest. We don't need fake here. Okay, so no, Tony, your thoughts?
Well,
spirits, UFOs, related, totally separate things. What do you think?
There's two things that come to mind. One, you've got places like Skinwalker Ranch. You've got places like the Conjuring House, where the combination between extraterrestrials and spirits combine. And anyone who knows anything about the Conjuring House knows that they had experiences with both. Skinwalker Ranch experience with both.
Yeah,
so are there instances?
Yeah, forget the experiences, but are the two totally separate?
Well, I believe them to be completely separate, but could somebody without enough knowledge mix one for the other? Yeah, they could. They absolutely could.
I guess phenomena is phenomena, so it's very easy to make that bridge from one to the other.
But is there a difference between the two? Absolutely.
Like I said, phenomena is phenomena, though. Let's see what else we've got. So it's Mark said again, lol. It's a light frame picture, so moves fairly easily, but freaked myself out for a while. Okay. Bedspread. I had that happen. I would be on the couch or wouldn't be able to sleep in the bed that night. Yeah, well, you know what, Mark? The paranormal and the supernatural is my back garden, and I absolutely love anything because I have no fear, and I understand these guys better than a lot of people do. So, and that brings us to another question, Tony. Poltergeists. Now, we spoke briefly, I mentioned this the other day on the phone, didn't I? Where within the research community, we have ghosts, we have spirits, and we have poltergeists. That is generally the three recognized categories, is it not?
Yes.
The question is why? Because poltergeist means, in German terms, a noisy spirit. Therefore, that does not make it anything other than a spirit.
Right.
Okay. So
it goes back to what you're originally saying about definitions, terminology.
Definitions and terminology. Exactly. Now, the other thing is, there's a common conception whereby poltergeist activities do prepubescent teens and this and that and everything else. That's based on their statistical analysis of the data. Okay.
Right.
Data is an absolutely incredible thing if you're just concentrating in one area. So let me put something to you which I think is quite interesting. So that's the general consensus. Poltergeist, pubescent teen, this, that, their emotions causing this stuff to happen. Right?
Right.
We can go back to the Enfield Poltergeist case. Some absolutely amazing activity there.
There is.
Witnessed by the police officer, things appearing on roofs, books going through walls, and everything else. Okay, but my point is this. I understand that we can only base our assumptions on our limited knowledge of such things.
Right.
But statistics I always find incredible. First of all, they're normally around young girls and women. Okay, first question to you. Who is most likely to report a disturbance, a male or a female?
Female.
A female. So there again, that skews the data, if you're American or UK or everything, of the actual statistics. Because then it's believed that it's mainly the females that experience the activity, where that may not be true. But getting back to what I'm trying to get to in a kind of weird way is, the other thing is, pubescent teens activity, they're projecting this and that and everything else, because that's based on statistics. If I did a survey, you'll like this, Tony, Cherie, honestly. If I did my own survey on poltergeist activity, on who was wearing coloured socks or white socks, I will guarantee you the latest statistic would be poltergeist activity happens mainly around people that wear white socks. Do you know what I'm saying about statistics?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I understand.
And assumptions. The point of the matter is, nobody actually knows.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that not only do we not know, we don't know how it occurs. We don't know the variables involved, and we don't have the scientific methodology to even explain it if we could. So therefore, it's an anomaly.
But what I'm saying is, ghost, spirits, poltergeist. No, poltergeist and spirits is the same thing. Now, just like humans, spirits have different capabilities.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Just, oh my goodness me. I'm haunted by, apart from spirits. Guys, I've got to do this. Hold on. We love this live show. Hold on.
Some human negative energy that leaves.
That's a theory, but whether it's correct or not.
Aww.
This is Bella. This is my little baby. Yeah, sweetheart.
Oh, cute.
So cute.
Isn't she amazing? Yeah. We kind of rescued her off the street, didn't we? When you was a little kitten, you was about a month older, you've been kicked out in all that rain and stuff. I know. So there we go.
Oh my God,
We can go now. We're done with that. That's better. It's fantastic. But yeah, do you know what? Again, we kind of accumulate and put this data out based on assumptions, and them assumptions are often very incorrect. Now, I'm going to do a whole show on poltergeists. The information will be coming from Becky and the guys, not from me.
Nice.
Dispel so much of these misconceptions that people might take offense, especially people like, I don't know, these places like SPO and London, etc. Because, you know, I'm in a very fortunate position where I can get answers to things where other people can't, and I will start putting this stuff out. You know, people can disagree with it, they can slate me or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter because this information is not coming from me. This is coming from the guys.
Right.
Okay. So I'll be doing that in a forthcoming show. We will concentrate on poltergeists.
That's awesome.
And probably just put some information out. Some people may want to take notice of, other people might not. It might step on people's toes, it might piss on people's fires. But you know what? This is the Supernatural Files. This is about truth. And this truth is coming from them, not from me. I'm the messenger, so please don't shoot me.
Right.
Okay. Right, Tony, let me just check the comments then. We're going to jump into another clip. My goodness me, this has been a fantastic show. I love this.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
And the only thing I would say is I'm a little bit disappointed, Tony, Cherie, because I've got a big thing on the thing here that says +1 425 374 0858 or via Skype, same number. When I say call now during the show, ready for this? Call now. Maybe that's what people are waiting for. You know,
maybe.
Right, let's have a quick look on here. What we got?
Hey.
Did I hear a voice? Honey?
You need to do more stuff
I need to do more stuff like what?
like more stuff that they have, more videos.
We're doing the videos.
Okay, I just
Stop being a producer. I've got my cigarettes now. Go away.
I am your PR.
You're my PA. Yeah, pain in the ass. Yeah, I get that.
But the show is about.
The show's what? You can speak clearly.
No, I'm just being.
A wife. Yeah, I get it.
I know all your shit. I want to know their stuff.
We're getting to that. I was just saying before I was rudely interrupted by my wife. I'm just checking the comments, and then we're going to jump back into some more clips.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
But I don't want to see you again unless you're bringing me pizza. God damn it. Oh my God. Okay, so what we got here? Thanks, Don, and especially Tony, for mentioning Skinwalker Ranch.
I think I broke the door.
You broke the door. Oh, we got a call. You got to go now. On the front page. I'm going to check this out. Hello and welcome to the Supernatural Files.
Hey, Don. This is GLB.
Who?
Let me turn. This is GLB, Don.
GOB. Okay, so what can I do for you?
Yeah, this is George from Cleveland, Ohio.
Hi, George, and welcome to the show.
Don or Tony?
Hi, George.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was waiting for the call now.
Okay, I'm bad. I know. I get it. I just realized that when I was looking on the screen. Okay.
Okay, this is for either you or Tony or Cherie. The question I got is, do you believe that the voices that you hear, and I wrote this on the chat, but do you believe that it piggybacks on the sound or on the wave form when you play something like white noise?
Okay, Tony, I'll let you go for that one.
All right. Well,
And listen
Hold on.
to the answer.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for your call. Much appreciated, sir. Have a good New Year. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks, Don. You guys too.
Take care. Thank you, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Bye-bye. Okay, good question, Tony. Go for it.
no, that's a great question. I can give you what our theory is, and I say theory because right now that's all it is. It's our theory. But considering we're using white noise and white noise only, and that the levels are consistent across the entire spectrum from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, we believe that they are using spiritual energy, whether that's electromagnetic frequency. Don't know exactly what form that energy is, but all they are doing is they are using their voice, which is inside that white noise spectrum, and raising their frequency above the standard white noise level, which allows it to come through either the technology that we're using to pick it up, or in the case of audible voice phenomena where a spirit speaks in an atmosphere, the same thing. They're raising that white noise is in the world naturally. It is everywhere. Could they not also then raise that white noise, bring their voice spectrum above the standard white noise so it's to the level where the human ear could hear it? Yeah, I believe they could.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. So I hope that that's answered your question, sir. What I'm going to do as well on the next episode of Supernatural Files, I'm going to push that stage of push it all a stage further, because you know what? I've had this several times over the years, including 3 weeks ago, a YouTube comment. How can spirits speak when they haven't got a voice box? And do you know what? I've got the answer for that for you. And I am going to put that out on the next episode of the Supernatural Files. I'm going into great detail how they can speak without a voice box. Cherie.
Yes, sir.
You're too quiet. You need to talk right now.
Oh,
let me find a question for you. Let me find a question for you to answer, because I'm that kind of guy. Okay, let me see what I've got down here. So let me see what we got.
I'm not going to answer a question regarding my age, okay?
I can put that out quite publicly now. Right. Cherie is... No, I'm really shitting you.
You're going to be in trouble later.
No, I don't care. You're how many miles away? Okay. No, I wouldn't do that anyway. You're doing all right, Cherie. I don't know what age you are, but you're doing good.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome. Pretty much like my wife. She's doing good too. Not going to mention her age either, because she would come in and take her cigarettes back. Right. How do we know that they don't have a... Oh, that's interesting. Don, my text message didn't get through to your Supernatural Files. This is Suet again. How do we know they don't have a voice box or an equivalent on the other side? I can tell you with no doubt, they have not got a voice box, because they do not need a voice box. But like I said, we'll go through that on the International Files. Tony Gio that called in, he said, "Thank you very much for your answer. Very good." So another satisfied customer.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Gio.
Oh, well, his full name is George.
Yes.
Yeah, Tony, we have some more of your clips here, sir.
I think we have one more, and the one you're about to play was captured last week.
I believe so. Yeah,
last week. So we were able to really cut down the background noise through some different filters and stuff that we added. So we had about 4 or 5 voices only speaking at the same time. And this was about an hour-long session Cherie and I did together. And we asked everything from whether Bocce was around to whether a voice that we had caught on other DRV by the name of Collins, whether he was there. Cherie tried to make contact with her mother, and I tried to make contact with my grandfather. Now, what you're about to see is a super condensed version, and we cut most of that out, but a lot of it is on our YouTube and Facebook page. But these were just some responses we received through a clearer transmission through white noise.
Okay, I hope it's not too condensed, because I really need a pee break right now. Just saying. Okay, so
I hear you.
What's the name of that clip, Tony?
That clip is called DRV test number 6, and it's about 4 minutes. So play the clip and run.
Yeah, 4 minutes is plenty of time. Right, guys? So here it is right now.
Marcello, we're using your method, and we'd love to hear from you. Bocce, you hear it? Marcello, are you around? Marcello, I would very much like to communicate with you on making this connection. Hear it? He's talking. I hear a voice, Marcello, that sounds like yours. Is that you? Yes. Did you say they're all forming?
Something Bachi.
Yeah, I heard it too. You're there, aren't you, Mr. Bachi? We're here. He is. Mr. Bachi, are you still there? Are those bursts you guys manipulating my system? Marcello, we've been fascinated with your work and what you achieved. Marcello, is Colin with you? Do I have something incorrect in the program?
Yes.
What do I need to fix? Cherie and I both have people that have passed over that we'd like to talk to. Is it possible for us to speak with them? Is that possible? Yes.
And I was back with time to spare. I even managed to pour another glass of wine. Fantastic. Okay, interesting. Cherie, what have you got to say about that clip that we've actually just played? What do you take most from that?
Well, it was, first of all, my mom just passed away last year.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult for me when
Yeah,
we did that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If I remember, you actually messaged me and said, "Can you ask Becky about my mum before she actually passed away?" But before that, she actually passed away pretty quickly, didn't she? So,
yeah, it was pretty quick. We didn't put. There is a little of it in the longer version that's on my YouTube and Facebook page. We kept a lot.
Hold on. Entity Voices YouTube channel, just so everybody knows
Correct.
where to find.
Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence YouTube. There's an Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence Facebook, And then, of course, Tony Rathman has everything on it as well. And it's all open. Anyone can see any of it. We don't hide anything. But we did about an hour session with that clip. And Cherie was getting responses. I remember when it first came through, it said, she's here. It's your mother. We didn't have that in the clip we just played. I spoke with my grandfather, and he actually responded. And I asked him how life was on the other side, and he responded, oh, it's great. And there was a ton of other conversation that occurred. But the method is just, it far outweighs spirit box communication.
Oh, anything like that. It's like night and day. Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You know, it's. I mean, obviously, I stick with my recorders because that's what suits me and works best. But I got to tell you, so me and Paddy, I'm going to give the short version. Okay. I had a case in Seattle. She picked me up from the airport to send me the cab fare. I've never met her before. She was a Facebook friend. We got on well. We were friends for ages and ages and forever. And then eventually we're here and now and married. And I've got an amazing woman, an absolutely incredible woman. I got to say that. Again, an incredible woman. But this is the thing. During the time we started dating, I came over because I was only allowed over for like 3 months at a time on the before I actually relocated here, on the tourist visa, 2 or 3 months at a time. So I was in bed one night and Paddy was in the bathroom. And I'd been shooting downstairs on the green screen. And I don't know if you know, there's an app you can get, a green screen that you can get on the mobile phone. You put it on, it shows you your green screen's lit correctly. And I just did this. Forgot about it. Didn't realise the app was still open. Went upstairs, got in bed. Paddy was in the bathroom, like I said. I thought, oh, I'll just check my Facebook. I opened it up. It opened up on the screen app, green screen app, still running. Okay, which shows you the frequencies in between on the grayscale and everything.
Yep.
And I looked at it. I actually held my breath. It was pointing in the corner of the bedroom. There was a wooden chair. Well, this woman sitting on it, looking at me, smiling. Point being is, there was no wooden chair in that corner. And there's certainly not a woman sitting there smiling. I'm like, it's Becky, for a second. And I thought, that's not Becky. I went, Paddy's sitting in the bathroom. Paddy? And I've never seen a photograph of Paddy's mother at this point. That's important. And Becky, did your mum have dark hair that kind of come down and cut it? Yeah. I said, can you come in here? She opened the bathroom door. The light spilled in and it all disappeared and she was gone.
Wow.
So I was in bed. So I got my recorder close by. I said, Becky, who was that? It was her mother.
Wow.
And I don't embellish things or make stuff up. You know that, Tony.
Right, I do.
The next recording was a mother. We said something, can't remember exactly what it was. And oh my goodness me, super loud and clear to Paddy. Press record, press play. I like him. Get married. Literally. I swear to God, as I'm sitting here and breathing air, that is exactly what happened and how it happened.
That's
Absolutely
incredible.
We have since spoke to Florence, Paddy's mother, regular on several occasions.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And do you know what I love about this is something that I've been able to give to Paddy that nobody else ever could. You know, a relationship with her mother all this time later. Oh, Paddy, this is such an incredible gift. I know, sweetheart, it is. And we've done that. And do you know what? The thing is, getting off track a little bit. Becky, I mean, obviously, you've got no doubt about Becky, nor Steve Merrill, anybody else with.
None.
So many times she has saved my ass. You have no idea. Even like literally a week ago, I was going to go out into the car, just go to the store. She goes, don't go out.
Wow.
For whatever reason, don't go out. Now, before when she said that was about 6 months ago. And I never questioned Becky. And I actually asked her a little while after. I said, Becky, why did you say don't go out that time? We were talking about that. And Paddy was there. She witnessed all this. And it was clear. There was going to be an accident.
Wow.
Okay. So I was going to be an accident, basically, yes. And what was basically, I would have ended up dead or really, really bad in that, you know. And this is I can never thank Becky enough. Who else has got this, Tony?
No one.
A couple of years ago, Patty was in the UK. She booked a flight. She come back to the US. You know, we were visiting with the COVID and everything. We was trying to see as much of each other as possible because of a shitload of cash. Flight booked. Becky said to Paddy, well, I put the recorder on. She went, "Don't get on the plane."
I remember that. I remember you telling me about that.
No, we never actually state why not. Well, obviously the plane wasn't going to crash because it didn't. So I can only assume that Becky knew Patty would have got COVID during that trip.
Right.
Absolutely fascinating. This, what I've got with Becky, nobody else has got anywhere in the world, as far as I'm concerned. She's absolutely incredible. There's no words to describe her and the appreciation we've got for her. You know,
exactly.
Awesome.
Right. Let's just go back onto some questions. Right. There was one I spotted here.
George.
Oh, Tony and Cherie, were you able to contact relatives in the last clip? That's what he said.
Yeah. As I was explaining before, they were taken out of that clip, but there are some of the responses given in the longer versions on our Facebook and YouTube pages.
I heard my name when we were doing the session.
Yeah.
But again, we're not so sure. I'm not so sure whether that's my mom or, but when
they did say it's your mother, she's here or something along that lines. And my grandfather actually replied, said, howdy, Tony. And then my mom called me the next day and she goes, did you just speak with my father?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I think I did. I said, was he common in using the phrase, howdy? And she said, yeah, he used that all the time, because I thought it was, kind of dated.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, he used that all the time. And then I asked him how life was on the other side. And he said, oh, it's great.
Right. Right. Another one here, which is quite a relevant question. Oh, hang on a second. Patty, this is incredible. It was such a gift. It was, darling. Becky and Don give me so much. And my dad also. Yeah, absolutely. She told me not to get on the plane. Oh, yeah. I've just mentioned that, Becky, Paddy. Right. Archangel Reese, I didn't miss your last question. I know you just repeated it. Don, does entities feed on human fear frequency or fear pheromones? Right. My perspective on this, no. Shall I tell you what feeds on human fear? The human mind. Quite literally, the human mind. There's, again, misconceptions, negative entities feed on this and feed on feed. What does feed actually mean? Feed. I mean, think about that for a second. Do you know, there is no doubt there's negative entities which are the rare ones, which are as bad as it gets, and I've dealt with them, and Paddy's been actually witness to that, which I'm not going to go into publicly anyway. Okay, I've done the whole thing that you could possibly do as a human being. Okay, but this is the thing: your human mind is your worst prison. Fear. Look, let's put this in perspective. There is no doubt that certain entities, undesirables, people call them demons, they call them desirables, have an unpleasant intent towards people sometimes. But there's a big difference between unpleasant intent and actually being able to actually carry out that intent. If that was the case, let's just put things in perspective. How many times do you pick up a goddamn newspaper? Someone has been attacked by an entity and they've done this and they've done that and they've done everything else. Physical, this, that, and everything else. You know what? It's very rare. It's so rare. It's like rocking horse shit, quite frankly. Because I did a case in Northampton, break his legs. This was all aimed at me. We're going to do this. We're going to kill him. We're going to do everything else. Despite what they think they can do or achieve, that does not necessarily mean they can do it. Is that right, Tony?
That's absolutely correct.
The intent was there, break his legs. I'm going to kill you. I've heard this shit millions of times. Do you know what, guys? I'm still here having this YouTube live video. I'm still alive. Can they scare people? Absolutely, they can scare people.
Yeah.
People it's to do with conditioning. Oh, haunted house. Oh my God, it's scary. Do you know what? Let's put this in basic principles. A haunted house is not scary. It is as scary as you make it in your mind. If you adopt the consensus that spirit people are real and they're in a lot of houses and sometimes activity happens, that's life. That is the true life. That is what actually happens. People talk about haunted houses. No, it's a haunted world. Anywhere there's been people, there will be spirits and ghosts. Sorry, well, yeah, let's include ghosts on there. Whether they can actually carry out what they intend to or threaten to, that's another matter entirely. But what I'm saying is, put it in context and think about it. How many people have been killed by a demon or a ghost? Demons, the big, magnificent, super powerful negative entity. I mean, one person, I'm not going to mention his name, Tony, but this house is demon infested. I bought it and I burnt it to the ground. Good luck with that. How did that work out? What you got with it? I really don't think so. That just tells me you haven't got a goddamn clue what you're,
Right.
So, Tony, do they feed on people's fear?
Like you said, it's a definition of the word feed. When a human gets fearful, do they exhibit energy from that fear? Maybe. Could a negative spirit maybe use some of that energy? Yeah. But do they actually feed on it?
Okay, so this is down to the person, okay, their understanding and their mental state at that time.
Right.
I described earlier, I had a mouse fly off of the wall, off of the shelf, banging the thing. I've had the bed cover lift up, a door open for Paddy. Would that be termed as feeding off our fear, trying to scare us? Well, yes and no, because if he was fearful, certainly. But you know what? I don't give a shit because I love that crap. So no. But what I'm saying is it's down to the place, the mental health place that the person is at the time. That is what distinguishes between feeding off fear or no. Okay. It's down to the person, not the entity. That's what I'm saying to you.
No, very true. And when you talk about being in a position for oppression or oppression, it's always based on the person's
attitude, character,
emotional state as well.
Mentality.
Right.
Exactly. Right. But you know what? If I was in here and everything started flying around, would they be feeding off my fear? No. I would be loving that shit. But because that's where my mental place is.
Yeah.
People fear what they do not understand. What's this? Sorry, what are your thoughts on Zach Baggins' Ghost Adventures and where do you think he sold out? Do you know what, my friend? I'm not even going to go there. All I'm going to say is night and day, each to their own. Is that fair, Tony?
That's very fair. Yeah,
I think that's fair. I don't want to be unprofessional. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left, I think. Then we're going to wrap this one up. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah. I think we're out of clips.
Yeah, so I'm going to do this. Call now, in case anybody's waiting. Let me just, while we're doing that now, let me just see if we've got any more on here. What are your, Zach Baggins, yeah, we've done that. Lol. Calling out frauds isn't being unprofessional. Yeah, but you know what? That's down to each person's own interpretation of judgment of how they people. No, it's not a professional to call out frauds, and I'm quite happy to call out frauds. But, and you know what? Each to their own. Each to their own.
Yeah. The other thing about him is that he's had a show for 24 years, 25 years.
What I would say is that
networks have a big influence on what's been done to keep that show where they want it. And unfortunately, things like weekly demon possessions and all of that stuff is part of Hollywood and networks. So
Okay, yeah, and you know, you noticed over the last 20 years, ghosts are totally out of fashion. Now. It's all got to be demons. No ghost,
Right.
It's demon. It's always a demon.
Right.
These are, like I said, powerful demons. You know, and yet people go in there, and nothing happens, and they go in and challenge them. And you know what? If the demons, well, people, it's a label to me. If the undesirables actually decide to accept that challenge, some people would be in a whole world of pain.
A huge world of pain.
If they could see what they were challenging, they wouldn't even challenge it. And you know what? The other thing that cracks me up, Tony, you get these shows, people, show yourself, do this, do that. And every time there's a little bump and noise, what happens? The very people that are challenging these entities go running off screaming like little kids.
Scream, yelling, and leave the building. Yep.
And you know what? These undesirables must be just kind of like eyes rolling. Oh, it's another one. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to play it down too much. There is some real bad shit out there, and I've dealt with it, as you know, Tony.
I know you have. I know you have.
It is rare. It is extremely rare.
Right. Yeah. You don't run into it on every investigation. It just does not.
I do.
Well, if you're referring to me.
Most people don't even investigate on investigations. I mean, Paddy's first introduction to me and that kind of stuff was at the tree. When, you know, that's a whole other story, but you probably already aware of that. So, cool now. Just saying. We've got about 5 minutes left, and we're going to go. I'm going to thank everybody for actually joining us tonight. This is the first time I've hosted the show. How did we do?
You did great.
I think we did good. It's flowed nice, and we've got some fantastic supporters on there and everything. Let's see what else we've got just quickly. Excellent show, Don. Tony and Cherie would love to see more frequent presence in the coming days.
Awesome.
You need to jump onto their channel, Tony. Plug time for Arcane.
Yeah, we have a show on Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time, called Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. We're on the Unexplained Network, and we're, well, like I said, I guess I just gave the times, but we will review evidence of our own. Matter of fact, this Monday we will be doing a lot of DRV evidence that both Ron Iacovetti, Lourdes Gonzalez, and Cherie and I have captured. Yeah. So feel free to come check that out. Otherwise, entityvoices.com is our website. Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations is our YouTube. And then we've got multiple Entity Voices Facebook pages. So feel free to check them out. I think we've got 460 some videos just on the Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations YouTube channel alone.
So thank you for your show, Don. Please continue to stay real and above board. That's why I like you.
Nice.
Thank you. And also, excuse me, that also applies to Cherie and Tony. They keep it real. Paddy said, good job, you three, and everyone that commented.
Thank you, Paddy.
It also brings up the mindset people have. That was great. He's just put, okay, that's great. I'm glad everybody enjoyed this show. Do you know what? You've now got 4 minutes to call now. I mean, you know, my followers know me. I'll sit on here for another goddamn 2 hours, but I know that you two are probably going, okay, we must get to the end now. I need a smoke. Yeah. Unlike me, who's very unprofessional, who smokes on camera, you two don't. So
no, and we're going, yeah, every time he lights one of those, I'm thinking, I want one of those.
Well, on the next show, I'm sure we'll have another one. I'm going to say, now we're going to go to a 10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. I'll just put a picture on, and then you guys can go and do what you want to do. You know. Right, what have we got here? Patty says time for bed. Is that a statement or a promise? Just saying. I know I'm terrible, aren't I? Okay, guys, 3 minutes, last call, and then we're out of here. Guys, have you had a good time?
Yes.
Had a great time. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
How long have we been on now? Let me have a look.
11:56.
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock our time. We've been on 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 11 seconds.
Wow. How fantastic is that?
That's great.
Okay, guys. So Oh, another message popped in. Hold on a second. We've got hot girls here free. Do you know what? Low life? Just do one. Seriously, we don't want to deal with low life scum.
No,
Seriously.
I just blocked them. They won't be able to comment again.
That's good. I found more worthy stuff than that on the heel of my shoe after Sophia in the garden. Seriously. Okay, guys, I guess there's going to be no more calls right now. Thank you for those that have called in. The next show that we do, I think we should advertise it probably 2 weeks before to get more people to call in. Okay. Anything else you'd like to add, Tony? Cherie?
No, I'd just like to say thank you. You had a great audience tonight. They had some fantastic questions, and we love those. We love people that, will think it through, ask questions, inquire about how things are happening and working. So this was a great night. This was a great show, and we just want to say thank you.
And thanks for inviting us.
Yeah,
Don.
thank you to Don and to
Appreciate
Patty for
such short note. You know what? There was no planning. We were flying by the wire. Tony, can you come on?
Hopefully next time we have Patty.
We have a what? Oh, Patty.
Yes.
Patty. I thought you said potty. Sorry. No, I thought you said potty. I was confused for a minute. I was like, I'm not that old yet. Quite.
I didn't say that.
No, you know what? It would be fantastic to get Patty on as well, because she can share her experiences and her input and everything. Okay. Right. This is the very first time I've ever done this. So, I see it there. End broadcast. How good is that? That's for novices. That's for people that are totally green.
Yeah, they can't see that. Only you can, because we both have full control. No, don't. You're going to end the broadcast.
Right, Tony, finally again, where can people find all your work, your links, etc.? In fact, no, Tony, don't speak. Cherie, you need to speak more. Where can people...
Oh my God, I don't even know where to find Entity Voices.
Okay, cool. Edit back to Tony. Tony, where can people find all your links, your work?
They can find it on our website, entityvoices.com. They can find us on our YouTube channel at Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations. If you're looking for direct radio, we have another YouTube channel which directs specifically to direct radio voice. And if you just go to YouTube and type up direct radio voice, you'll see the link to both myself, Tony Rathman, and Ron Iacovetti. You can also get us on multiple different Facebook channels under Entity Voices and Instagram.
Yeah, and we're not only doing the ITC, but some of our investigation location that we've done.
Yeah, we've
we've
investigated in the Philippines, in Japan,
yeah,
all over the U.S. We've got some really interesting investigation videos that we've done in those areas. So feel free to go take a look and check it out.
Right. You know what, guys? I've just got to add this. Next 2 minutes. Did you put that video on of that shadow in that doorway, that figure?
Yep.
You did?
Yeah, we captured that at the Copper Canyon Paranormal Research Center.
Yeah. Is it uploaded on here now?
Oh, I don't think so. You know, I can add it real quick. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can put it up real quick.
Use that as a close, because that is a fantastic little piece of footage, and our viewers will love that shit.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay, you do that. You do that.
Yeah, for the past 12 years, that is the first time we captured
a shadow figure. That was the first time we've captured.
I get people send me footage and photos periodically, and a lot of it's kind of or whatever. But I saw this, Tony, and I was really, really impressed with this. So,
thank you. It's uploading right now. The thing about it is that it's in the light to begin with, and it steps into the complete darkness and approaches the camera.
That's the thing.
And it's 3-dimensional, and it's almost done processing, and then I'll play it.
Thank you to Serpent.
Yeah, Serpent, just to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, make sure you subscribe to mine as well if you're not already. Come on, just checking.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. But we ran the old Phelps Dodge Hospital in Ajo, Arizona for about 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'd spend multiple days during the week and most of the weekends just hanging out there. trying to capture anything and everything we could. Well, this was one of the last nights we were there. We actually spent the night at the hospital. We let DVR cameras run all night. We let full spectrum cameras run, FLIR cameras run. And this thing came walking down the second floor hallway of the hospital right up to the camera. And I'm going to play this clip right now.
This, guys, is above average. This clip I absolutely love. So, yeah, Tony, go for it.
Here it is.
I love that.
We were shocked when we saw that. Just shocked.
I absolutely love that because I mean, obviously, a filmmaker. I know about light and everything, and you know, even if you was to fake that, Tony, I'm not suggesting for 1 second you would. From that angle and where the light is in the door, that would be pretty impossible.
Yeah, we went through that over and over and over. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be a reasonable explanation. And then I started looking at the exact same things you were. That was on the second floor. The windows letting the light in were probably 20 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Nobody could have even have been outside casting that shadow in through that window. The fact that it moved out of the light, the fact that it rotated 360 degrees, turned around and walked back to where it came. None of that was possible from a shadow that would have just reflected from light up against a wall. It was walking down the hallway.
And we are actually locked down. There's nobody will get in.
Right. There's no one else can get in the building. We're the only one with keys. We're in a completely different part of the hospital, and the cameras show us at that time still sleeping.
Two things. First of all, I know you guys, so I know it's totally not fake. Second of all, that's almost three-dimensional.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is so odd.
There's also separation from the background, if you notice.
Right.
If you look at the depth of field, there's actually a slight there's obviously a slight, from the background, which is incredible. So I love that footage, Tony. That's why I think that is a fantastic way to end this live stream on the Supernatural Files. Kudos.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was absolutely great.
Too late to call now. You blew it, guys. Anyone waiting? You know what? Oh, maybe it's because we've got somebody waiting on the line. Yeah, I wish. Okay. So next time, we're gonna advertise this 2 weeks before, give you a chance to think about the questions on the topic that we will actually put out there. And we love findings. We love questions. We love people to challenge our work. We actually invite people to challenge our work, do we not, guys?
Yeah.
No, don't do this. Just go, yes.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
All right. You know what, guys? You two have been an absolute pleasure. And I guess we're going to do another episode in a few weeks of
Yes.
on the Supernatural Files. You said any advancements you've made with your equipment or anything else, but absolutely fascinating.
Thank you so much.
Two of my best favourite people on the planet. And Paddy, I know you're still watching this, my darling. Thank you for bringing me the cigarettes. They was well received. Right, guys, Supernatural Files, Facebook. Check it out. AmericanSupernatural.com on Facebook. Check it out. Obviously, the Supernatural Files on YouTube. Subscribe or else. I think we're pretty much done now, guys. Tony, you've already mentioned everywhere where you guys, people can find you.
We have.
All right. Love you guys. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Love you too, Patty. Absolutely. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon.
Right, guys, everybody watching, totally Happy New Year. It's going to be a good one, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Supernatural Files. Bye for now.